right, everyone. Thank you all for coming today. So for today's session, we have Malaka. He is a senior solutions architect here at AWS, and he has more than 5 years of experience working with AWS Amplify, which is the team that he's on. So today, he'll be talking about how to build a full-stack GenAI app using AWS Amplify. So without further ado, let's get started.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? It's a very nice day today. This is my first time here, so hopefully you enjoy it, and hopefully we will learn together new things. Today, I will be talking about building a GenAI app. But first, let me tell you a story to give you some context here. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but I love food. I like eating, okay? It's one of the best activities you can do, if it's not the best activity you can do. And it's very easy. I mean, that's it, right? There's no effort, nothing at all. While I like eating, I know nothing about cooking. I tried it a lot of times, but to me, it's like chemistry. You mix things, and then you end up with something beautiful, colorful, tastes very well. I don't know how it happens. I have zero idea. I tried multiple times. Eventually, I get banned from the kitchen, and I couldn't get to that. On the other hand, my wife, she's an amazing cooker. Like, she enjoys cooking. It's her thing, it's her hobby. But while I help her in eating and practice her hobby by demonstrating and going through the food and enjoying that, she likes to talk about it. That's a problem for me because I'm a very simple man. For me, food is either good or bad. I will eat both of them, but it's good and bad. But she wants to talk about more of that. Like last time, I think a few days ago, she made this great salad, very colorful, very tasty. And she asked me like a trick question. She said, like, do you notice anything different in the salad? And that's for me like a very hard question because for me, I mean, other than it tastes good, I don't know. It turned out she's looking for a tiny ingredients she added to the salad. Like she put some apple and special kind of apple that made the salad like taste very good. And she expects from me to know that, which I don't. I didn't know, and I will never know, and all of this. And this is where AI, why I'm excited about AI, because I'm hoping the AI will solve that problem for me. I started learning about AI by building an app to generate a recipe, so that I can have something to talk with my wife about. Like, hey, can you guess what you can make from rice and beef and all of that? You can do this. So it helped. It brings some conversation. It didn't go very well, by the way, because I think in the AI we're not there yet, or maybe we need to add image capabilities. So can I detect the secret ingredients and stuff like this? But at least it's something to start with. And this is what I'm going to show you today: how to build a recipe generator AI that hopefully you can have a better use than mine. This is the app that I built. Again, simple. You just put some ingredients, and it will give you some instructions, chemistry instructions for me to do to get, like in this case, cookies here, or in the next example, something with beef and rice and pepper. Everything will taste good, but there's a lot of details here for any expert. And I used AWS Amplify to build. And just to give an introduction about AWS Amplify, it is a full-stack solution for front-end developers. It will give you everything you need to build and deploy a full-stack app. It will allow you to build a web application, mobile application, cross-platform application using like Flutter and React Native. It will allow you to add capabilities like auth, storage, data, and much more. It also gives you a hosting service. So it's a fully managed hosting service powered by Amazon CloudFront with hundreds of points globally. So you get like the benefit of hosting in AWS by just following Amplify way, which abstract all the complexity from AWS and make it easier for you to deploy and host. It offers, which something we recently released, Amplify Gen 2, it gives you a TypeScript DX. So you can now use the language you like, TypeScript, if you are a fan of TypeScript, on front end and back end. It gives you also, back to the hosting, give you like a Git-based workflow, full CI/CD platform to automate deployment. And you can map this deployment to your branch. So you can have branch for development, branch for production, branch for staging. I will show you an example how just with a few clicks, you can have that app that I demonstrated up and running. And one of my favorite feature on Amplify is the sandbox. It helps developers to iterate faster, build faster, test faster, using a bare developer sandbox. With one command that I will show, you will get a full cloud stack running for you. So if you are on a team, you don't worry about breaking other team members' cloud or anything. You just live in your world. You do whatever you want. Once you are ready, you publish to like the team environment, production, dev, etc. It also makes it easy and quickly build a web app using the UI library. And I use the UI library in this app. I will talk about it. This is a set of components that you can add to your React app to give you like authentication, for example, a storage manager and stuff like that. And because Gen 2 is built on top of CDK, that means you can add any web services to that. I'm using here some GenAI services, but in theory, you can add any other web services. We have hundreds of services. Because of the CDK, you can add that to your app. As I said, it supports the popular frameworks. So we have like the SSR server-side rendering frameworks for Next. We have single-page applications you can use using like Angular, React, etc. Native, mobile, Swift, and Android, and cross-platform like React Native and Flutter. By the way, I have a Flutter background, so it was. I think just a side note, like Flutter make it very easy to style things, comparing to the CSS nightmare I had by building that app. Just a comment. This AI, we are going to use Amazon Bedrock for the AI capabilities. And you mentioned in the keynotes about Bedrock, it's amazing services. And the team, they iterate very fast. So things change on a weekly basis. But it's to define it, it's like a fully managed web service that gives you a choice. It's important to have a choice of foundation models. There's a lot of foundation models on Amazon Bedrock. You can choose the one that suits your use case. And using a single API, you can connect to that foundation model. It simplifies the development, keeping in mind the privacy and the security, which is very critical. Simplify means, as I said, it will give you like core values. It will give a choice. It will give you the capability to customize, to integrate with whatever foundation model. And again and again and again, security and privacy is an important part. Okay, let's talk about the app. So in this app, I will be talking about those services. Those are like the main services I used to build the app. We have the AWS Amplify that will abstract for you everything here. There's authentication part, which I'm not going to talk about a lot here, but you will get access to the code and you will see it. We'll use Cognito for authentication. This app will ask the user to create an account using email and password. You will get an access code, a confirmation code, and then you will be signed in. You'll see that interface. And in that interface, you type the ingredients. The ingredients, we will send it to AppSync. which will have a GraphQL API. And that GraphQL API will use a Lambda function to connect to Bedrock and return back to you the instructions or the recipe.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For this app, if we decide to not use Amazon Cognito at all, like it's available for everybody to use without even signing in, will the app work without Cognito?
Yeah, you might need to do small changes. So you'll get access to the code. I will share the GitHub. But in theory, yes. There's a schema file where you set up the authorization rule. And for your use case, you will make those public so that you'll allow anyone to go to the app and just type the ingredients. And you can use like a API key or something to access the API. So the answer is yes. You will be able to do that. And I will highlight that in the schema file where you need to change it. We'll also have links to the docs where you will find examples like this. I think it's all recorded, and yes, we'll share the slides. Once you build your React, or in this case, Next.js app, and you add Amplify to it, I will have a link to a guide to go through those details, but I will be starting from the point where everything is built for you. We'll go through that. But you will end up with this folder, Amplify folder. And this is all where the magic happens. Okay? This is the new way of building a backend. It's TypeScript files. Once you add Amplify to your project, you will get those two folders, auth and data. I don't know why this icon looks funny, but you'll get auth and data folder. In the auth is where you set up the authentication. By default, you will get like email and password authentication. And in the data, the resource, this is where you set up your data layer. You build your API, and you do the data modeling. What I added to this folder is this one, Bedrock.js. Not the greatest name, but you'll get the idea. This is where I have the handler for talking to Bedrock, which I'll talk about it in details. So to go through building this capabilities, we'll do like step by step. Step one, we will add Amazon Bedrock as a data source for our data layer. So in the backend file, I identified a data source to the GraphQL API, HTTP data source. This is like AppSync features. You add it, you point it to the Bedrock. I'm using West2 here, but you can use, of course, you need to enable Bedrock for your account to enable the access. We know those things, but this is where I'm pointing this app. And then I enabled accessing this resource by using add a policy here. And the action I'm looking for is invoke model, so to call that model. Step two, we'll go to the schema file and define a custom query. So I created, again, poorly named, a query called Ask Bedrock. It will take arguments, a list of strings. Those will be the ingredients list. I'm using, in this case, and that's the question you asked about, this line here. I'm saying, like, to access this, you need to be authenticated. That's the line that you need to change to enable public access. It will return a custom data model, which I have it here, which will include the string body and error. And here where I have the handler, where I bought the JavaScript file, the Lambda function, and I'm pointing to the data source that we identified in the previous step. So now we will go to the next step, which will be working on this file. So step 3, configure the custom business logic handler. In this file, I have a request function. Okay, I put the prompt there, and I'm using HTTP request to invoke the Cloud3 model. And I pass the arguments, which will include the ingredients. I added that to the prompt, and I pass prompt to that. When I get a response, birth that response, I get the body, which will include the instructions, and if there is any error, I add that. Step 4. So we are done now with the backend. Your backend is now ready, and it's talking to Bedrock, using AppSync, as I said, and using a handler. Now we move to the front end. In the front end, I started by configuring the Amplify library. So there's that sandbox command that I will show you. This will generate for you a file, a JSON file. This Amplify outputs JSON file. This will include the details that the front end needs to connect to the back end. You'll get this file by just running the sandbox. So one command I will talk about in a second. Using that file, I configure the Amplify, and I create a client that will connect to the back end. Then I presented to the user a form with input, where you put the list of ingredients, and a button, generate. Once I get the result, I display it in this div. Another side note, this form took from me a lot of time just because of the styling. This is painful. CSS is painful. Just saying loudly. When the user enters the list of ingredients, you submit. We use the client that we created, the data client, to talk to the query that we identified. Remember the poorly named query, ask Bedrock. We pass the ingredients list. We get the result, and we display that in the result div. And that's all from implementation. So we did the back end, we did the front end, and now we are ready. Remember I told you one of the features that I like the most in Amplify is the sandbox feature. So I'm not ready yet to deploy that to production and affect everyone and get our senior engineers shouting me like because I broke backend or anything like this. I'm still in my world. So I use those two commands to create my own personalized backend environment. The first one is the sandbox. This is Amplify command. This will build for you the backend. I will generate the JSON file that I talked about it. And this one just to run the app using like localhost 3000 or whatever. And you get the app. Beautiful. You put the list. You get the ingredients, talking to Bedrock real time, and get those results for you. It's easy. Few steps, and we get a full stack app up and running. It can't be easier than this. Well, you are wrong again. Well, I am wrong again. Because now we're working on a new capabilities on Amplify. We call it Amplify AI. Now we call it like that, but I don't know if we change that. It's still in early preview. I will share with you the RFCs, and I ask you to go to try it and break it and share feedback and let us know if you have any feedback about it. But I will show you how this, and by the way, my colleague Danny here, he's the brain behind it. So he has a talk after my talk. If you have any question with that, ask him, don't ask me. Using the new AI, step 1, backend definition. Remember, I did I think I lost count, 3 steps for the backend. Well, this time, it's only 1 step. That schema file, where we have all the magic, I'm not doing any policy, I'm not adding any data source or anything like this. I just go to the schema file and identify what we call it a generation route. Okay? It's here. And we have now a better name. It's called Generative Recipe. It's type generation. I set the AI model, and the system prompt. Okay? The argument, this time, we'll use a description. And it return, again, a custom type, but I didn't need to process it. This generation will give you a structure like this way. Okay? And I just set the authorization as usual. So again, I didn't do any data source. I didn't do any business logic or policy or whatever. Just few lines. Amplify, the new AI capabilities, will abstract for you all of that. So you guessed it then. What's the step 2? Front end. Front end, we're still repeating some of the steps, meaning we still need to configure Amplify, and we need to build the data client. We still need to display a form for the user, obviously. And we need to style it. Yes. I know, painful. We have the form with the input. You click generate. This is where things different. With the new AI capabilities, we added a few components to the UI library. So we have UI React AI, which will give you a hooks. So in this case, we have the create AI hooks. You use that to create a AI generation. And you point it to the name of the query. So this is the name of the query. And then you pass the data that the user, and this will give you the result. So we pass the description, and we get the result, and we display it. And that's it. So we are down from, we started with talking about how it is complex to build and all of that. We used Amplify to make those in 4 steps. And now we are making it even easier by doing only 2 steps. And you don't need to worry about policy. Well, you don't need to worry. You don't need to worry about adding the policy, because Amplify will add that for you. So Amplify will give you a secure way to connect with Bedrock and a secure way to build a generative AI applications. You'll get all this code. I have a QR code, so you can get all this code there. So we tested, we are happy, and everything is rosy, and ingredients is coming, and you're getting all those tasty recipes, and now ready to publish that to the world. So this is where Amplify hosting will help you. And as part of the changes and the innovation we did for Amplify that we announced in the last reInvent, we improved the hosting. It's become very easy. Before it was a little bit, there's complexity. You need to be expert and very technical to go through that. But now it's become more of a just next, 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 you're done. I'll show you how. So you go to AWS console. You go to the AWS Amplify. And then you just click create a new app. Very obvious. Yeah, you select, in my case, GitHub, but you can have any other providers. And then, again, next. You might need to authorize your GitHub account with AWS console. You'll get a pop-up. We'll ask you to authorize that. Once you get this, you will see a list of your repos here. You select the repo that you want. In my case here, it's the recipe generator. It will detect that, OK, you have one branch, in my case, so it's main. Otherwise, you will see you use something else. If you have dev, staging, as I said. And again, you click next. This is the beauty of things. That Amplify, go through that repo, and it will detect that this is Amplify Gen 2 repo, and this is Next.js repo. If you have a React, you'll see obviously React. You'll have whatever, you'll see that. This is all auto-detected by Amplify. If you have a corner case where you need to change some of the build settings, because when Amplify detects this, it will affect your build commands. You can still do that. So you can edit the YAML file and do whatever weird stuff you want to do there. But for me, it was auto-detected. What I do, I click next. yeah, review. Everything looks good. So save and deploy. You will get this screen. Amplify will deploy. And actually, I like the animation of the screen. I didn't share it here, but this would be like, like a progress bar and all of that. You'll see some details, and eventually it will go for green, and you'll have like a button, or you can click this link. You will get the app. Fully deployed on AWS with CloudFront and available for anyone. As I said, I have few links and resources for you to build up on what we learned here. So hope I shared some quick introduction. But if you want to learn more, we have obviously go with the docs first. You'll see you can filter the contents based on your framework. I think this one point to React, but you can change it to whatever. And you'll see detailed instructions, how to add services, how to add authentication, how to do all whatever you want there. The AI RFC on GitHub, again, we are asking you to share your feedback. This is the new way of adding AI capabilities to the app. I spent a lot of time building AI apps with the old way, and I got access to this recently. I built even a chat app very easily, so I think you will like it. But please go try it, break it, share any feedback. We like the bad feedback and the good feedback the same way. We have Discord server where our engineers actually go on Discord on a daily basis, monitor questions. Community builders go to Discord. We have a weekly office hour where you can come to stay, share what you're building, or talk to the engineers if you have any question. A written blog about this app is here, where I'd include a link to a repo on AWS Sample. And this is my personal GitHub account. You'll see few AI apps there, like the chat AI I told you about, and 2 versions of the Recipe Generator app. And that's what I have.
All right.
Now for the questions.
Thank you so much, Mo, again, for this fantastic talk. Can we first get a round of applause for him?
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, so now we're going to go into the Q&A portion. So when you raise your hand and ask a question, I'm going to go towards you. This is just so that the recording, you'll be able to hear your voices. Otherwise, it won't pick up. So yeah, feel free to send your questions.
And if you don't have questions, that's fine.
Be anecdotes too, statements.
How much is the cost per query, the backend query, and the Amplify service?
So Amplify is part of the free tier on AWS, which obviously I'm biased, but it's very generous free tier. You can get like a lot of hits and traffic based on that. There's a link. I didn't have the link here. But I can try to get you that link. Or if you Google it, just AWS free tier, it will give you a very detailed breakdown of how much you can get from the free tier and when the cost will kick in. Same, it's all included in that web page that you're talking about accessing Bedrock. So when you get the initial access, I think to enable a foundation model, it will ask you a question. Like what you're going to do, and it will give you access to that. The details of how much, hits, the lack of a better term, hits to the model, how much it will cost you. You will find it also on the free tier page.
Oh, give me a sec. Sorry.
No, about 1,000 requests per day. Can I work on fully on the free tier?
I'm not sure about the exact number, but
Okay.
like this one I didn't pay anything yet.
Oh,
so,
thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
But I'm not sure if it's 1,000. I didn't hit it 1,000 to be honest. So
Okay, thanks.
yeah. All the details in that web page with the exact numbers. Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay, yes.
Just
Even the hosting is included in that AWS Amplify free tier.
Yes, initially, anything on the Amplify, it's part of the free tier. It's not, the free tier is not based on what service you use. It's like how much of traffic and load you do to that service. So it will give you up to a number. I don't know what the exact number, and then the cost will kick in. From a number of applications, like I have, being part of the team, I have a lot of apps using my private account. So there's no like a limit for the number of apps, but it's based on the traffic. All the details on the free tier page.
Yeah,
and there's other programs like for, I think, students and startups that you can sign up for as part of AWS that will give you, I think, more access and to help you to get up and running on AWS.
Yeah, there's a list of all the services that are on the free tier.
Yeah.
It's on our website, so you can just search that up.
Yeah, I just have a small question about the deployment part. So what we saw was the web app deployment. How easy, or can you just summarize how easy it is to develop and deploy the mobile apps and cross-platform deployments?
So Flutter, for example, I have experience with Flutter. Because there's a web, it's cross-platform. So the web part, you can do a deployment. It's very similar to what I shared, except that YAML file, you need to change one line in that file. Okay, that's for Flutter. Obviously, for iOS and Android, there's no deployment. Like, you still need to go through the App Store and the Google Play and all of that. You have nothing on AWS about that. React Native, I think it's the same as Flutter. You might need to change a line. So in the second or third step, before you click Next, edit the YAML file, add something, and you will get the website of the cross-platform or the web platform. Again, Android, Swift, or even Flutter, if you want to deploy it on Android, iOS, that's part of the stores there.
Any more questions?
Okay. Well, thank you. And hope you learned something. And if you have any other questions, I'm around. And make sure to attend the next call with Danny, because we'll give you more details about
What time is that next call, Mo?
I think in, 10 minutes.
You heard it from the man himself. Stay in the room for the next 10
Something like
minutes,
that,
and more fun stuff will be coming up. All right, thank you everyone for attending this talk. Let's give another round of applause to
Thank
Mo.
you.
So,
Thank you.